With last week's change in policy at the southern border, there are some new rules on how asylum seekers can enter the country. So how is this change impacting Toledo? And what are local groups doing to help those looking for a new life in America? Immigration is our big story today. In the days before Title 42 expired, border officials said they were seeing 10,000 migrants crossing the border daily. Now they say that number has dropped to less than 5,000. However, Border Patrol says last week 27,000 migrants were in custody at the border. And they say that number could hit 45,000 by the end of the month if they're unable to release migrants to prevent the facilities from reaching capacity. And it has been 6 days now since Title 42 expired. That was the pandemic era policy that allowed border officials to expel migrants back to Mexico while asylum claims were being processed. Border Patrol had warned of that potential influx of people as the rule expired, and asylum seekers were once more allowed to wait out the process within the United States. But since last Thursday, border leaders say they've seen a 50% drop in the number of migrants encountered by Border Patrol. And now people are warning a little bit of caution, saying there may be more migrants arriving, and the surge may not have happened yet. And Title 42 allowed border officials to expel migrants over the border without allowing them to claim asylum. The Department of Homeland Security says an asylee is someone who cannot return to their country of nationality because of a, quote, well-founded fear of persecution, and is either already present in the United States or is seeking admission at a port of entry. Asylum seekers then apply for asylum and are allowed to live in the U.S. while that claim is processed by an immigration judge. The process can take months, sometimes years, to complete. And under U.S. and international law, anyone who comes to the U.S. can apply for asylum. But after Title 42 was lifted, a new rule went into place called Title 8. Title 8 now turns away asylum seekers who did not first seek asylum in a country that they traveled through, or if they did not apply online. Under Title 8, anyone who crosses the border illegally is barred from re-entry to the U.S. for 5 years. And with those policy changes, we've seen an increase in migration across the country, including right here in Northwest Ohio. 13 ABC's Ethan Watts explains how a local nonprofit is working to help migrants here in the Glass City.
I spoke to Linda Parra, who runs Nuestra Gente Community Projects. Now, in the past week since Title 42 ended, she says Lucas County alone, her group has brought in multiple families from Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, and Guatemala. All of them are seeking resources and safety.
This is a human rights team. This is not a political team. This is people that need help, that need support, that need better life, that need better opportunities.
Just 6 days after Title 42 ended, Nuestra Gente on Broadway Street in Toledo has helped 16 people. Founder of the group, Linda Parra, says that oftentimes, after months of walking in harsh conditions on the trip to the U.S., migrants have nothing.
When they got on the border, the little things that they bring with them, they took it away from them if they went across. So they pretty much get here with nothing.
That's where Nuestra Gente steps in.
Food, clothes, shoes.
Everything from housing, setting up medical appointments to grocery store runs, Nuestra Gente helps new residents adjust. After a surge last week, Parra knows that the number of clients is going to grow.
This is not a stop. This is every week going on.
That means the items the nonprofit has available will only go so far.
We can do more, but we need support. We need support from the city. We need support from the county. We need people here to help us.
In 2000, Parra came to America from Venezuela with her son. She says that she's an example of how beneficial migration can be to the U.S.
They can contribute to this country too, because I am migrant and I contribute to this community and to this country.
Parra believes the families arriving here in Toledo are searching for a better life.
Better health, education, job opportunities, and to provide.
Now the next step for the group includes trying to round up donations, funds, and volunteers to continue to help families during the summer months. For information on all of this, be sure to check out our website, 13abc.com. Reporting live, Ethan Watts, 13ABC Action News.
Meanwhile, cities along the southern border are not seeing that sharp increase in migrants that was expected last week. Cities like El Paso, Texas, were preparing for an influx of migrants who needed shelter and other services. But those places have actually seen a decrease from last week. The mayor of El Paso says it's likely due to the current Title VIII immigration rule. He says even though they aren't seeing the numbers they expected, it's important to stay prepared.
We're continuing to prepare for the unexpected, the unknown. And that's one of the things that's really important because we don't know what's going to be coming in. But I can tell you that El Paso is prepared to treat people with respect and dignity, and make sure that we continue to protect not only our asylum seekers, but the people of our community.
The mayor at El Paso also calling on the federal government to pass immigration reform, which has not been done in decades. Meanwhile, as New York struggles with an influx of migrants, the city now looking to turn standalone school gyms into emergency shelters. But parents at one of the potential schools now protesting this move. They were notified Sunday that the gym would be turned into temporary housing for asylum seekers. New York City leaders say those arriving will be moved to long-term shelters as soon as possible. In a letter, school leaders said migrants would be confined to the gym and would not affect school operations. But some parents of children who attend the school have a range of opinions on the matter.
I just hope they take the proper measures with security.
They should have a different type of, building or something for adults. Everybody needs a chance in life, Everybody's going through something.
I'm Ukrainian myself, and I support refugees.
New York is eyeing up to 20 schools with standalone gyms to house asylum seekers. The city already has 150 emergency sites open that can serve more than 65,000 people, but hundreds of migrants are arriving in the city every day. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice will have to follow a temporary court order that will not let it skip a step in releasing migrants from Border Patrol custody. A federal judge refused to issue a stay for a ruling that requires the department to keep migrants in custody until they have a court date scheduled. The DOJ had argued that if Border Patrol was not allowed to release migrants quickly, DHS could arrest them and then release them with notices to report. You can watch the full big story on the 13 ABC News app that is available as a free download in your app store.